First of all, I want to congratulate, Cal. I mean, they've been here before, and I think their experience really came into play down the stretch. I also want to acknowledge what a just terrific group of kids I have. I mean, it's hard to go in that locker room in these type of situations because when you're working with such an outstanding group of student athletes, it makes it that much more difficult. I also want to acknowledge Baylor for putting on a first-class event. They've done a terrific job. We're proud to represent the Atlantic 10. We feel the Atlantic 10 is one of the premier basketball conferences, and we feel that we left it out there and proved, where we are as a program and where we are as a conference.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for the student athletes?
Bryce Cherry, San Francisco Chronicle. Aaron, you guys shot the ball really well today. What was the plan on that last possession? And obviously, I'm sure you probably didn't get as good a look as you'd hoped.
Yeah, it was kind of a clear-out play, so top screen. Everyone else was kind of running through to the other side for an ISO on the right-hand side of the court. And you're right, I didn't get a good look at all.
Kevin Tankersley, Associated Press. Aaron, you and Brittany had a pretty good battle going. You tried back in, both fell. Kind of how was the matchup with her today?
I think she's a great player. Like I said before the game, it was just going to be fun. It was a challenge for me. I think everyone said she's more of a defensive player than I was, so I kind of took that to heart. And she still got her points, but it was just fun playing against such a top-class point guard.
Jason Norris, San Jose Mercury News. Aaron, just if you would, they tried to press you guys a little bit at times, but it seems like for the most part, the pace was to your liking. Did you like the flow of the game today?
It's funny. I think people think that we like to bring the ball up slowly, but we actually like to push it a little bit more. And in some of the timeouts, we were trying to say let's speed it up a little bit. Let's try and get some fast break looks. It was a little bit slow, but we did get to run our sets.
Emily, for you, obviously a lot of hype for this California team. That second half, it seemed like they dominated the offensive glass. So what do you think went most wrong in that second half of play for you guys defensively on the glass?
For us on the glass, I think that when we were doubling their post players, the drop wasn't there all the time, and they were just able to get a good position on us, and they're, like you said, they're a lot taller, so they were able to get up and get that board, and we weren't able to contest them.
Emily, this is Viet Nguyen from Bear Insider. But in the first half, it seemed like you guys did a really good job on their post players. So what changed in the second half?
I wouldn't say that we did a lot worse in the second half on their post players, but they were able to use their screens more effectively and drive off their post players, and it was tough to switch onto their guards and have them just dump it inside, and obviously the rebounds were a huge factor for us.
Any more questions for student athletes? All right, thank you, ladies. We'll go with questions for the head coach.
Coach, especially the way Aaron was shooting, I'm sure there's probably nobody you'd rather have with the ball at the end of the game. I mean, can you just describe that sequence and what Cal maybe did to force a tough shot?
They switched on the screen, and they were typically doubling, so we were anticipating them maybe doubling on that, and so they switched. I thought Erin maybe had to pull up early, and I think she waited because she was trying for the dribble penetration, and I think maybe she waited a little bit too long, and by then I think a little bit of panic sets in, and then you think, I just got to get a shot off. So I think she waited a little bit too long on it, but then again, it's like when you're not used to being in that situation that often, we practice special situations every single day, and we simulate it against our scout squad, against guys, and that's something we talk about the whole time in the timeouts. We've been in this situation before, but I think their size on that switch, affected us. I think Erin had a tough time seeing. I think there was a couple kids open, but it was so hard to see because of this, when they switched, what the size advantage was.
Coach, you talked about their size a little bit, but their offensive rebounding and some of the turnovers they forced, just how big of a deal were those in today's game?
Well, we decided to go with our big line, but when we went big, that possession where they got 4 offensive rebounds, we were in zone. And that's why we got out of it real quick, because we couldn't find people. And so the 2 possessions we went zone, I think we gave up 5 offensive rebounds. And we thought because they weren't shooting the ball well that we could contain them, but, we were giving up offensive rebounds. So it was like, well, you have to pick your poison. And so we were getting hurt by, Boyd's penetration. That's why we went zone. And then we get hurt by the offensive rebounds, and then we go back to man. So it was kind of a chess match there, and that's where we gave up them. In that one section, that's where we gave up most of our offensive rebounds when we went to our zone.
Coach, a lot of your shots came deep into the shot clock. Is that typical of your team, or was it something Cal was doing on defense?
I think Cal's size, size and athletic ability, we see it, but not on a regular basis. So, when we play Dayton, similar, they have good size and they're very athletic, but I think their size had something to do with it. We had, a lot of, between our seniors, we had 10 turnovers. That's a lot of turnovers for seniors. But I think, part of it was because I think a lot of the credit goes to Cal. Aaron and Abigail were, they're handling the ball the majority of the time, so therefore, there's going to be mistakes because of that. But I think their size and their athletic ability really came into play.
Coach Gailey, you built the foundation for Fordham. What will the experience today do in continuing to build that same foundation as you continue on as head coach?
Well, I think when you go through games like this, or just obviously be in the NCAA tournament, and once you get a feel for being here, you always want to come back. And you want to keep that feeling, because, with our administration, our university, it's just really been a rallying point. And there's kids in the locker room, obviously a lot of sad faces, because, we were right there to steal it. But this is something that you build off of. We came in, we took a Cal team that went to the Final Four, that is a nationally ranked team that was second in the Pac-12, and took them right to the wire. So I think that shows a lot about where Fordham has come as a program. And I think those kids that are returning in the locker room, they have a taste of it now, and they learned a lot from their senior class, and I think we'll build off of it.
And Coach, this is your last game, obviously, with Abigail and Aaron. How do you even begin to recollect and on what they've given you as a coach over the past 3 years, just even growing into this role with Fordham?
I don't think you can right now, to be honest. It's very surreal. And I talk to them in the locker room, because traditionally in the last game, I always want to just acknowledge the seniors and thank them for everything they've done. And I think for us right now, it'll take some time to just get away from it and, be able to reflect back and see the body of our work. It's not going to come down to one game. It's going to come down to, finishing the season 25-8 and, putting Fordham on the map and gaining, national respect.